Well, welcome to Thursday. If you didn't know it, it is Thursday. I hope it's a great Thursday for you, and I hope it's one you really enjoy. It's beautiful weather here, and I hope it's a great day for you. I hope you're being safe, and I'm glad you're with me. And like I say, come on into my little world for a moment or two. You know, I was reading through the newspaper this morning, and I came across an ad that caught my attention. I'd seen it quite some time. It's one of those for older people. Maybe that's why it caught my attention. Anyway, it was this Walker advertisement, and on the advertisement, supposedly there's a lady on there saying, "This is the most freedom I've felt since I learned to ride a bicycle." Now that may not ring a bell with you all that much, but boy, it does with me. All of a sudden, I had that flashback. Do you ever have those? Just something catches your attention and you have this flashback in life. Maybe that's age does some of that, I don't know. But there's that flashback in life, and suddenly the images of days gone by come back to you, and suddenly you remember how marvelous it was when you could get on that bicycle, on those two wheels, no training wheels, nobody holding the seat anymore. You could get on there, step on that pedal, and you launched out there. And when I started, that was in the days long before they thought you needed to wear a helmet and all these guards and had all these things to protect you and everything, but it was just you and your bicycle, and you challenged the world and you launched out. It was probably the first feeling of freedom that you had. Now, I know as little children, we think we're fast. We think we're fast. The grandchildren come around and they'll tell you how fast they are. I've got one right now, a 4-year-old, and he tells me how fast he is. And in his mind, he is lightning, and he is fast. But it's when you step on that bicycle, then that running freedom doesn't even begin to compare. The speed of running doesn't even begin to compare. You get on that bicycle and you launch, and the wind blows, and you're flowing, and suddenly the laws of the world, of gravity and everything else, are just kind of lost. Yes, I know, you can hit a bump and go over, and there are those accidents that come. And if you slow down too much, it becomes uneasy and so forth. But when you're on that bicycle and you're pedaling, there is a kind of freedom, because you're following and you're working in that line that says, here you are, you're on your own. That's it. And so I guess for that older lady in the advertisement to be able to grab hold of that walker and be able to walk and get places and smoothly, she said, that's first freedom. That, again, and maybe it's whatever age you are. I guess you could add to that, it's that 16-year-old getting the driver's license for the first time and soloing out in a car with the windows down, your elbow out the window, cruising along with the AM radio playing full blast. Oh, boy, I'm telling my age, aren't I? But we understand. I think we understand something about it. And the idea of freedom. But there's a line that strikes me when you talk about freedom. Because there was a group of young people, and there still is a group of people, young people, called Up With People. You may have heard of them. You may have even heard them. They travel around with encouraging messages, and they sing, and boy, they sing well. You can look online and you can listen to some of their music online, and they still put on performances. But I remember them coming out in the late 1960s. I think it was a time in America, we're engaged in this war in Vietnam, and there's a lot of conflict in America, the anti-establishment and everything. And we felt there was a sense of oppression around us, and we needed a voice that says life can be and is good. We needed some positive pictures for America, and maybe that's where that came from. And the group came. And I remember when I was in high school, and they were in Tulsa, and they used our high school They used our high school, rooms in our high school, to be able to practice and get themselves together. And they even put on a production for the school. Now, I tell you all of that because they were really good. They were very talented, very trained, and they traveled about this country and other countries with their message. And one of their songs that I don't know whether they sing it anymore or not, but one of their songs was simply, "Freedom isn't free." Freedom isn't free. You got to pay the price. You got to sacrifice for your liberty. There's something in that message that says freedom is a challenge. Yes, it's an opportunity and it's a blessing, but it's also a great challenge. And if we grab hold of the challenge, there's something there to be grasped. And that's why I liken it to that bicycle and getting on that bicycle. And if you want to know the freedom of a bicycle, you've got to be able to manage it. You got to be able to pedal. You got to be able to push it forward. You got to be able to guide its balance and keep it in place. And when you do, that idea of freedom is the kind that sets you free in mind, in heart, in spirit, and in a sense even in body. Yeah, the rules of nature are still there, but there in that movement, you're free. But it really isn't exactly free because you got to do what it takes to get there. You got to do what it takes to keep it there. Now all this, I tie back. I tie back to a message of Jesus. In the 8th chapter of John, he was talking about freedom and slavery and so forth. And some of the people of his time said, "We've never been enslaved. We're the children of Abraham. We've never been enslaved." And he said, "Really, you need to understand something." Verse 32 said, "And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." In other words, there has to be some knowledge involved in it. There has to be some understanding of it, and there has to be some application of it for you to really be free. It's not just something, okay, it's out there. No more worries, life is there. But he adds on just a little bit later. If the Son, speaking of himself, if the Son makes you free, then you are free indeed. So friends, I look at it. He gives us something that we can hold on to, something that we can move forward with, something that we can grasp, something that we can use on a daily basis. And that's that truth. And that's what comes from him. And that's how we know and understand it and apply it and recognize it. And with that in mind, we find that sense of freedom because we know where we are, we know what we're doing, and we're moving with it. It's that bicycle. Mine was a $5 20-inch beat up little red bicycle that'd probably been through several others before it got to me, that my dad bought secondhand from somebody. I say secondhand, bought it from somebody used down the way. It might have been third, fourth hand, as I said. That beat up little red bicycle. And once my mother got me riding it and took off those training wheels, there was that realized sense of freedom. And that's what Jesus is saying. When you know the truth, and he is the author of it, when you know the truth, it sets you free. So I went up with people saying freedom isn't free. They weren't trying to oppress. They were just saying you do what it takes. And when you do what it takes, then you're free. And when it's the Son that gives it to you, you are truly free indeed. Hey, that's a positive message for today, isn't it? I hope this is a great day for you, and I'm glad you're with me today. We'll look for more things that we can share, more things we can do. I'll look to talk a little more, a little further down the road. Hey, I hope you have a great Thursday and a great ending to your week, and we look forward to more things together. Glad you're with me today, and hey, stay positive. We'll see you soon.